Okay, another sleepless night. Let's talk about yacht girls. I've been hearing about them for years, and I think I've mentioned it in other videos. They used to be the same type of girls that would hang around the Playboy Mansion, and they wouldn't necessarily be in the magazine or even be considered to be in the magazine. But they knew that all the older rich men would be at the mansion. And so there'd be a lot of really pretty young models that would hang out there. And there's been many other places, but yachting is a big thing. Okay, so there's quite a few very famous models that were yacht girls. And there's also quite a few famous men that are known to sleep with the yacht girls, buy them gifts. It's escorting basically. If you're a beautiful young model and you're not making enough money competing with so many other models, then that's what you would do to supplement your income. You would just get invited to a yacht all over the world. And the men there would pay for your time. They'd buy you gifts, and sometimes, if you're special, if you have something very special, they would just buy you. You're the new wife. You're the trophy wife of a rich man. There's a lot of models like that. Orlando Bloom's ex, can't think of her name right now, but she was a yacht girl. She married somebody very wealthy. I think she was, doing pretty well as a model, but I don't think she was like a supermodel. She did Victoria's Secrets and things like that. And those girls make decent money, but not what you would think they would make. I always assumed that if you were walking a runway like that on TV, that you'd be getting paid or doing those calendars or magazines, and not like they used to be. When I was growing up, those models were like, But even then, you look at models from back in the day, Cindy Crawford and people like that, they were always with somebody that had a lot of money. Cindy, I remember seeing her at the Academy Awards after party. And I've talked about this before because I've never felt so tiny and insignificant in my life. And you would think I would more often, you would feel that way. That business has a way of doing that to you if you're not a 6-foot tall supermodel, you run into them in person and you can't believe they're real. You start off feeling okay about yourself. You look in the mirror before you go and you're like, oh yeah, this dress I'm looking good, and should I wear higher pumps? No, I'm fine. My makeup looks good, my hair's banging, everything looks good, my tits are perky. And then you get to one of these parties and you're like, oh, what the fuck was I thinking? Why did I even bother? But then you remind yourself that the type of people and the type of men in particular that you would be interested in would not be interested in those type of girls, those type of women. We're not in the same league. They're in a whole other, I don't even know where they're from, like Mars or something. I feel like they're just not even human almost. It's so weird. I was standing at the payphone, actually, next to the bathrooms at Spago's, and there was Cindy Crawford. And that's way back. I mean, when you used payphones, and I was like a teenager, like very young, and yeah, so I just remembered like looking up, like, she was so fucking tall. She was like a man almost, like she was a big woman, very big, beautiful, but like you could see everything on her. Like if she had like a little pimple on her arm, you could see that. because she's so close up. She was enormous. Her feet were so big. I was looking down at her sandals and I was thinking, how do they even make sizes like that? But I remember feeling like she could accidentally step on me and it'd be over. It'd be over for me. But I kind of walked away feeling like not good about myself at all. And it wasn't until, she was with a rich man, this really old guy. I don't know how old he was. I was very young, so to me, 40 was old. And she was just kind of his trophy girl for the night. And she just, whatever he wanted. Yes, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to stand here? Do you want me to stand there? He just wanted to be seen with her, taking pictures with her. She really didn't have that much to say. She really didn't do that much. She was just very beautiful and enormous. The biggest woman I've ever seen in my life. I'm not kidding. I mean, I was in LA for a long time. And she's not even that tall. I don't even know what it is. She is tall. Compared to me, she was tall. But I just, I don't know. She wasn't as skinny as some of the others. That's what I could say. She had a body, actually, which was great back in the 80s and 90s when women were allowed, models in particular, were allowed to have a body, like Tyra Banks. Like, she was gorgeous. She had, like, the boobs, the butt, all of that. And I think I was just kind of used to seeing the skinny, the stick skinny girls. So, yeah, I didn't talk to her or anything. I don't think she even saw me. I mean, I was like down here and she's like up here. We weren't even breathing the same air. I mean, it was so fucking weird. But I remember watching her and just going, God, can you imagine being like a giant and how much pressure that must be? You know, like, you cannot be shy. You can't try to hide. You can't, that's you. You're right there. You are a trophy for everyone to look at. And I know there's a lot of tall girls out there. They're like, oh, I hate it. I hate being the center of attention. I hate people looking at me. That's a hard thing to do when you're like that. So for her, even though Cindy Crawford's known for being extremely smart. She got good grades in school. She could have done anything. But can you picture her being a doctor? Lawyer? I can't. This was what she could do, that she knew she was going to, like, kill it. She'd be better than anyone else. And so at first I was jealous, and then I thought, you know what's so nice about me is that I could just go hide in the corner and people watch. I could eat whatever the fuck I want. You know, they had restaurants from all over Los Angeles there. Some of the best restaurants, the best food. I could go and just pig out. And I could get drunk if I want. I could smoke a joint. I could light up a cigarette. I could do whatever the fuck I want and nobody cares. Nobody's watching. And I was very comforted with that. And I was comfortable with the fact that I didn't have as much money as the others. That I didn't have the nicest dress. I didn't have the nicest shoes. I was just like, no one's going to jack me. If I leave tonight alone, I can walk down Hollywood Boulevard. No one's going to jack me. I don't have anything they would want. Okay, they might rape me. That could happen. You know, that's a fear. And I've been raped before. But what I'm saying is that I didn't feel, I don't know. I think you know what I'm saying. So there's a whole community of women like her that are called yacht girls. And if you go to Reddit, there's a whole bunch of threads on it. A lot of America's Next Top Models end up as yacht girls. There's one in particular, her name's Jessica. Beautiful, like drop dead gorgeous. She's so pretty. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. She had a child and she got married very young, had a baby very young and got married very young. And she was so like country and cute and great personality, but kind of, you know, sassy, a little sassy. She's Southern. She's one of the biggest yacht girls I've ever seen. I am fascinated by her. I check up on her all the time just to see what the fuck she's doing, who she's engaged to now. She's always engaged to somebody. She's so close to marriage, so close. But then she'll do something like crazy. Like, what? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? What happened? Like the most eligible bachelor in Italy, and you accuse him of beating you, but there's no bruises. So she does this video on a yacht. It's on a yacht. Their whole engagement, their whole relationship was on the yacht, pretty much. And that's where she met him, was the yacht girl. She was a yacht girl. All of them, her rich, really rich, powerful men that she's met have been on yachts, pretty much. So for years, it was one after the other, after the other. So I was fascinated. I kept watching. I'm like, okay, who's she going to be with next? But she's engaged to this one, but, you know, he's not very nice to her, and she has to hide in the bathroom. He was an Arab man, and very cute and sweet, but he had rules. And she doesn't like rules, which is normal. I mean, who does? Who likes the rules that somebody else gives to us? When she's an independent woman, she could do what she wants, but not with this guy. He just became very wealthy. He was like new wealth. Can't remember what his name is. So there was videos of her like hiding in the bathroom, going, "She's gonna get so mad if he finds me in here," and all this stuff. So there's a group of people. I don't know who. I don't know how many, but that were obsessed with who she's going to be with next, or how long the relationship's going to last. So she'd post pictures of her in fancy hotel rooms in Paris, and there was always like dozens and dozens of roses and bags of designer clothing, you know, just bags laying everywhere of just like Gucci, Prada, all of that. And she was always somewhere amazing. French Alps, Swiss Alps, you know, skiing, you know, in Gucci. I mean, the car that she has is really fucking expensive. I don't know what kind of car it is because I don't keep up on that. But you know, one of those guys bought her this car. Because she doesn't really work. She doesn't really model anymore. And once in a while, okay, one time, she was on a billboard. But somebody bought her that billboard. She wasn't really modeling. It was weird. It was like, oh, cool, she's on a billboard. That's awesome for her. Because she went to the billboard and was all excited to see herself on it, you know? So she's taking pictures of it and like doing like, so funny. And she's telling people that walk by, that's me, I'm on the billboard, you know? She didn't really get on the billboard. One of her rich boyfriends, yacht guys, one of the yacht guys bought her a billboard. And we know this because she was wearing this really huge ring that this guy bought her. And it's emerald. I think it was an emerald. And she was holding a purse, but she had the ring in the picture. And when you model, and I've done very low-key, like, I've modeled, but not like that. Like, I wouldn't have been picked up by Guess or any of that. Like, no. But if you're going to model a purse, if you're going to have a purse in your hand, you have to focus on the purse. It all has to be about the purse. Even your makeup can't be too dramatic because everyone wants to look at the purse. So she modeled a purse, but the fucking ring was like boom, like bam, right in your face. And so you knew that right then, especially because it was the emerald with diamonds around it, was so like, that somebody just bought her a billboard. And then somebody bought her a spot on a soap opera. I just bought her a spot, you know. And she was on it for like a few months, maybe. I don't even know how long. She was good. I don't remember. I didn't watch it, but I watched a clip of it. And I thought, oh, she's pretty good. She's not bad. But she found herself the biggest prize, like the catch of the century. It was huge. This guy is Italian royalty. I don't think he's not royalty, but he's like, he should be. He should just be royalty. So he was one of the most eligible bachelors in Italy, young, cute. I didn't really think, I wasn't attracted to him, but a lot of money. At least he wasn't like some old guy, you know. And so she just kind of quit the show because she was engaged and she was going to get married. So she thought, you know what? I don't need to work. And everybody was so upset that watched the show. They were like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why are you leaving? Because she didn't need to be there, you know? So they were engaged for like a year. The longest I've seen her engaged. And I'm talking about years and years of her being engaged to new people, celebrities, celebrities and rich men. You know, there's one and all. They're the same thing. Except most of the rich guys, I don't know who the fuck they are. And so she was on a yacht, and seemed to be drunk, and so did he and his friend. And she gets on camera and she's like, he just beat me. And she's showing nothing. He beat my face, but there wasn't a bruise or anything. And then she pans the camera to him in the background. He's like, with his friend, he's just like, what are you doing? I didn't even touch you. Are you crazy? Okay, so then I had to deep dive, and then on Reddit, a bunch of people that kind of know her were like, oh, she does it all the time. This is how she gets money out of them. She gets sick of them, or they get sick of her, and she knows it's coming to an end. And so it's like a blackmail situation where she'll pretend to have an injury from them or expose them, because that would be a big thing for that to get in the news. For her to accuse him of something so monstrous, of beating a woman. And so as soon as he gave her the money, I'm assuming, after, he obviously gave her some money, she kind of retracted what she did and said, okay, we saw you do it. We saw you say it. We saw his reaction, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? All right, so that's one story of hers. There's some stories, and they're all really entertaining. I think she should have a movie based on her. I would watch the fuck out of that movie. A book, if there was a book, audio, something. She needs her own show. I don't know. But this girl fascinates me. And she has a son, and she puts him, because of this rich man, he goes to a private school, I think in Switzerland, I'm not sure. And I feel bad for him, I know that she means well, and I think she does it because she wants to take care of her son. But she thinks that taking care of her son means traveling around the world on yachts with him, or taking him skiing in the Alps, the Swiss Alps, or buying him expensive clothing, or any of that. She thinks all of that is being a good mom. And I had a mom that was like that wasn't really there for me most of the time, but when she would take me shopping. That was her way. It was the only way. The only time I got to spend with her was when we go shopping. And I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really enjoy that time. I'd rather us just have lunch and just talk, or take a walk, or, get our hair did together, get our hair done. I would rather something very intimate like that. But with her, it was like, go. What do you need? What do you need? Grab something. What are you going to buy? It was always like rushed. And I feel that's the way it was with her son. And yeah, it's just sad. It's really sad. And I think the baby daddy, I heard that he was on drugs. All right. So this is going to just be a series, because I'm already 18 minutes in, and I have a lot to talk about. About these yacht girls. It's a lot of fun to dig into. This girl in particular, though, last week, she was with some really famous DJ. Very hot, gorgeous guy, just a big hottie that travels the world and DJs. And it's so crazy that that's a real thing, but it is. And there was pictures of him, and she was in his pad, and, I thought, okay, this is the next one. This is the next guy that's going to propose to her. So it's very exciting. You're like, okay, what's going to happen now? And then he's gone. He's off of her, he's not on her Instagram or anything. And now there's a new one. A guy that I think he makes robots or something. I don't know. They're just a new guy. And it's like, okay, so she is a new one now. All right, let's see what happens with this one. I don't know what her end game is. I don't know. I can't really say she's a grifter. I mean, she's providing a service and they love her and she's fun to be with. I mean, every video that you see of her, she's like, what, and dancing around, all drinking and having fun. And she seems like a blast when you're young. I think she's like 35 or 40. I don't know. I don't know how old she is. But I will spill the tea here when I get it. When I find out more and what's going on, I will spill it. But I'll talk about other girls as well, just like her. And I know Leonardo DiCaprio goes on those yachts too. And most of his girlfriends, the young, pretty models that he dates, the very, very young models, they're legal though. They're legal. They're all, he meets them all on the yachts. That's what he does. That he's a yacht guy. And like some of you know, I used to know him back in the day. He's somebody that I used to know when he was a kid and I was kind of a kid, and something very bad happened to him. You know, he was messed with for a long time. He has some issues, and I think that's why he stays in that young mind frame. He only wants to date young girls, not young girls. That makes him sound like he's a pedo, but he's not. But he likes them young. I think once they hit like 23, he's like over you. So 18 to 23, something like that. And he's in his 50s. Isn't he like 51, 52? All right. So yeah, he's one of them. He's on the yachts and he gets those girls. Because I always wonder when you see him, you're like, where the fuck do you find this one? That's where they all meet. All right, so this is like part one of many of the yacht girls. And I'm not bashing them. I wouldn't do it. I have no desire. I am exhausted from life. I can't imagine. That's why I live vicariously through these people. And not in a good way, not that I want to be them, but I get to take a ride on their little yacht without having to actually be there. But not wanting that either. You know, like I wouldn't want that life. I would be exhausted, but I wouldn't feel good about myself. But to them, it looks fun. I'm not going to lie. If I was, in my early 20s, I'd probably, possibly, maybe be invited to a few of those events and I would have had fun. And then I would have said, all right, that was fun. I'm out of here. These guys are creepy. I'm done. So that's the difference, I think, is that this is the lifestyle that they want. They want the yachting lifestyle. And it does look like a lot of fun. But you have to put up with bullshit like that, you know? All right. Anyways. Oh, and she's like the biggest yacht. I mean, she is a good yacht girl. Like, she has got it going on. She gets men to propose. Most of those women don't. Most of those women are just kind of floating around on yachts, and the men don't really contact them again. They don't get the same treatment that she does, and it's because she has a great personality. She's smart, she's funny, beautiful, but for some reason, right when it gets to that point, something goes down. I don't know what it is. All right, everyone, peace out.